Anton, I've been sitting there for a while looking like one of the three blind mice. What do you want to say about your Arsenal tonight, mate?
I'm immensely proud of this team. I know everyone's expecting me to come out here and be like, best team in Europe, which, by the way, I'm going to get there. But I want to start off with how proud I am of this team, the performance they put today. This is a team, Bayern Munich, who, I mean, they posted on their social media platform on Twitter yesterday all of the results that they've pulled off against us. 5-1 3 times. People remember it was on 2 legs. They also beat us once in the group stages 5-1. They beat us 2 years ago. They knocked us out of the Champions League. They have a real mental edge over us historically. And there are a lot of fans going into this game being like, you know what? As much as I badly want to beat Bayern, I think I'm just going to, I'm okay with a draw. Let's spin it to the side because let's focus on Chelsea. And for me, I never was subscribing to that. I always had this game circled with a red marker because this is the game where Arsenal had the chance to show everybody what we are. And KJ said it best in our group chat today, which is like, Arsenal have repaid me for all the chess that I've been coming on here and showing, because where are we now? I said Arsenal are the best team in Europe. And at the time it was like, whoa, what the hell is this guy saying? Crazy take, and now I think everybody else on this panel has said it, but it's rolls off the tongue. And at this point, like, that game last week on the weekend against Tottenham was amazing, but this one for me feels a little bit better because it feels like it's vindicated everything that we've done this season. And like all the players, I mean, bar Miles Lewis-Skelly, who I thought just struggled today with Gnabry and Elise at times, and young Carl as well, gave him a torrid time as well when he shifted out to that space. So, but beyond that, everybody else was a minimum 7 out of 10 today. And Declan Rice was a 11 if you can give a player a high of a score. He was absolutely phenomenal. Pavlovic and Kimmich could not deal with him in midfield. He was absolutely dictating everything. And there are some receipts. I mean, I was sitting here with you, Terry, and people were asking, hey, who's better, Saka or Elise? Can we put that one to rest today? Now, you can say, oh, it was 1-1 until Saka came off. But I think that Bayern couldn't deal with him. I think that had nothing to do with the scoreline.
It's only because Marino missed 2 really good chances and Mascara should have put a ball in the back. It probably should have been 3 or 4-1 at that point. Yeah.
And the man of the match to me today, I just gave Rice an 11, has got to be the manager, because I sat here. I think a lot of people will agree that Calafiori should be coming on. But the one part that people didn't really get, it was like he pulled Saka, was having a great game, off for Martinelli and put Noni onto the right. And within seconds, Calafiori delivers a ball to Madueke that scores the winner. Like, I mean, that is incredible vision as a manager to understand. I could take off Bukayo Saka here to put my team in a position to score the winner. And then Martinelli goes on, makes it comfortable. I mean, at the moment, as Brandon was saying and Asa was saying, it's feeling comfortable and easy to watch into these games. I don't really have nerves going into these games anymore. Now, I think this game at the weekend, and I'm going to be honest here, Chelsea have looked very impressive. And I'm not talking about Burnley. I'm talking about last night. Yeah. I didn't say much in the group chat yesterday because I'm like, damn, no, Chelsea is serious. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want anything to come back at me on the weekend if something were to happen, because they're serious. But if we were to put them to the side, I mean, I don't know if it's too early to start planning parades. That's how good this team is right now. So
yeah, look, you can say those things. You're an Arsenal fan. It's your club. My thing is, I'd just be enjoying I just enjoy the games because I think, you win this weekend, and I think Chelsea's a hard test. You could lose this game. I don't think it undoes your season. But if you win this game, it's not over because you've still got to stay composed and work hard and win your games. But you'll have such a comfortable position. Maybe what you can actually do as Arsenal fans is feel less stress going into every game and actually enjoy it a little bit more than being in a title race. I said a little while ago, and had a lot of challenge on it. And it actually made me rethink my position when I said that, you might enjoy it more in terms of enjoy the win of the league more if it's a close race. And quite a lot of people left comments, and I read a lot from the community, and they were like, no, Terry, we haven't won one in 20 years. I want to win it easy so it feels I can enjoy it and there's less pressure. And I thought about it, yeah, that's probably true, actually. Rather than being nerve-wracking, it could actually be enjoyable. Maybe winning your second one or third one under Arteta, you'd like to win it in a close race because of the way that feels. So, yeah, listen, mate, you guys are going to get the chance to do that. And Jason, I know you've kind of gone a little bit full, sort of 180 this season, and rightfully so, because you've improved and you've gone in that right direction. But you guys were just fantastic again tonight.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's a reason why I went 180. It's one of those things where, like, I had from that day. You know this day really well, Terry. 28th of August, 2011. You know that day?
Say the date again.
28th of August, 2011. Do you know that day?
No. Was that 8-2? Yeah.
That from that day onwards, I was like, you know what? I had no hope in this club. I'm telling you, every game, I'm just taking it game by game. But this season sparked something different. It's just one of those things where we actually matured a lot, and I've seen it. It's good to see game by game. I haven't been this positive in a couple of whiles, and I had rival fans calling me up or messaging me, or like, why are you getting gassed? I thought you were Arteta out. Why can't I get gassed? I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just an Arsenal fan. I put Arsenal first before every other player or manager that comes to our club. Managers and players come and go, but the badge stays. But that's what I'm feeling right now, because you know what? Barring, there's only Arsenal. We've been one of the most consistent team in this league, and beating Bayern today is sending me a big statement, as because they're one of the best teams in the Champions League itself. They won like 4 games in a row. We were like, before the game, we were like joint top, and beating Bayern like with Harry Kane up front is a big test for us. And we showed that we've matured. We've shown that we have grown. And I've this time like 7 years ago, like we lost back-to-back 5-1s, and I was with my lot. They were clowning me, laughing at me. I'm just like,
but Jason, do you not also? I get maybe the first 18 months, 2 years of Arteta, but do you not also understand why a lot of Arsenal fans in the last 2 or 3 years have said to you, as angry as you are and wanting to go because you want to win, that this is what I heard from a lot of Arsenal fans, and maybe it was easier for me to listen because I'm not emotionally invested, but they're like, the last 2 or 3 years, you've not been getting battered by these. You're not been getting battered by the big six away from home on a regular basis, getting embarrassed by other European teams. You've not quite been at a stage to win those major trophies yet. But that's what I always looked at and thought, when I see like people going mad at Arteta for like not winning the league and narrowly missing out, but going very close.
It's just the most important games. That's why I get mad. That's why.
And I understand it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset. I'm not saying you shouldn't criticize, and that's the issue. Is there's a lot of bad content creators out there that tell people that everything's polarized. You either have to be fuming mad at everything, or they're toxic positive the other way, where you can't criticize anything when there's a balance. But the one thing that always stood out to me is, I remember watching the marches on AFTV and the anger when you were winning FA Cups, finishing in the top 4 but not winning leagues, when you were getting battered away from home at the top teams. You've become a team that's doing all everything in there, barring the FA Cups and maybe getting over the line, but you're not getting battered. That for me was showing that you're improving. But yet you could argue there's been more anger in the last few years. And that's why I've always felt you were going to get to this point. That's why I always thought you were going to get to this point, because as someone watching Arsenal as an outsider, I've just seen such a different club and team in the last 3 years. I'm just not surprised to see you here today. Overall, did I think you'd be this good? I didn't predict that, but am I shocked by it? No.
I'm just shocked about, like, I mean, because I'm not really used to this, the way we're playing at the moment. I'm not really used to it, because I'm used to kind of like the fast flowing, quick football that under Wenger, like we were crave as Arsenal fans. We are used to like attacking football. Like the style of change is changed completely, and I'm kind of like, especially this season. Like, obviously, we've been playing like this like over the last few seasons where we're hard to beat and stuff like that. Except that, but we kind of added a few essence into our game this season. Anyway, we played
at the same time though. As good as we were, didn't you not feel an element of that we were so easy to score against? People used to break us open.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Depending because of the defense that we had.
Yeah,
but the likes of Kolasinac, Mustafi, I've seen that.
Even with Mursacher and Koscielny, I mean those 5-1s happened with those two at the back. Like
it still happened, but
yeah,
we were good defensively.
Listen, I agree. And those days, I got the outright. I remember the 8-2 United game.
That was the only game I ever went to in the Premier League.
I remember I had a very scary moment. I was in my garden after the game, and it was either the same day when I got home. Now, it couldn't have been because it'd been too late, or it was the next day. But I was in my garden. I was on the phone talking to my dad about the game, and about 5 gardens down, I heard a voice. Shut up, you fucking prick. And I was like, oh, all right. I shouted back, just shut up, you mug. And he was like, I'm a gooner. He was angry. And I gave it a big one. And he was like, right out the front. And I thought, I can't back down now, right? Got out the front, started walking and see him come out his front gate. He starts walking towards me. Thought, right, I'll have it. Every step closer I got, about 5-6 doors down. This guy was about 6'8". Huge man, right? And I remember thinking, no. The closer he got, the more I realized that he was just a big teddy bear. He got closer and closer. And he went, oh, mate, look, I'm not going to fight. He said, not that kind of man. Fancy a beer instead. We had a beer out the front of our asses, and we got on really well, actually. Still speak now, all these years later. And I'm still so grateful that he was a teddy bear, because if he'd have grabbed, he was like George from Of Mice and Men. If he'd have squeezed my head, it would have popped. That was after we beat you 8-1. So to see you guys go from that, right? To see you guys go from that to what you are now is actually quite crazy. It gives me a little bit of hope. I don't know if we'll do it though.
What's crazy, Terry? That was the only Premier League game I've actually been to. I went to Bolton against Man City once randomly. But that was the only Arsenal I've ever been to in the Premier League. I got tickets to go Arsenal, Man United, and I sat in the Stretford end because that was the only tickets my uncle could get. And I sat there, having to sit through 8 goals. I was drenched in beer at the end of that after so many goals you guys had scored. It was so freaking bad.
Yeah, and you're not having it happen no more. And yes, this guy's right. I would have been teared in half by him, but he was actually a nice bloke, and he basically they was like, oh, I'm not fighting over football over that. And we had a couple of Stellas outside the front of the house. And then Terry woke up. Listen, you don't have to. One day, my best mate Phil will be on the show again. Phil was there because it was the same time I had to go and take Phil's Arsenal shirt out of the wheelie bin because he went and threw his Arsenal shirts all away. And I was like, no, I can't let you throw your kits away of your club. So I took them out for him. Witnesses, you don't believe me, you don't believe me. I'm not going to lose any sleep. I've got some super chats to do here. This here from earlier says, please explain the greatest rises. Let's slow down, Terry. This team is good. They only have an FA Cup to show for it. But as I said, Trey, what you missed, I appreciate the super chat, but some cognitive dissonance kicked in. I didn't say it is one of the greatest rises. I said if they get over the line and start winning those major trophies, it will be. And the reason why I talk about it as one of the greatest is because Arsenal, whether people like it or not, are a British juggernaut and one of the biggest clubs in the world. This is just a fact. You can tell that by their revenues. As an example, you don't get that kind of revenue unless you're one of the biggest. And this is a team that hasn't won a league title in 20 years and has never won a Champions League. So if after falling off to a point where their fans were protesting and getting battered by all the clubs like we just mentioned, if they're able to turn this round, rebuild, become champions of England, becomes champions of Europe for the first time, that's one of the greatest rises we've seen from a fallen giant in this country. And it just is one of the best. Is Arsenal the best team in Europe if they win on Sunday? All the love, Terry from Saudi Arabia. Big up, bro. I think you can say on form they are. At the end of the season, you get a better idea. This time last year, nobody would have said PSG were the best team in Europe, and they went on to be. But if you talk about the season so far, if they win at the weekend, I mean, either they draw at the weekend or lose, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League group stages, you can't argue against it because aren't the league tables the ultimate barometer?
You know the thing that people isn't sinking in for people yet, by the way, for Sunday? Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz are going to be back.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, Arteta said that on this press conference. He said Gyökeres and Havertz barely missed out on this one. They'll be available on Sunday. It's
going to be crazy. Only one. So I've got to get through these super chats. I'm running out of time. Sorry. Only one goal against Arsenal in the Champions League. Yeah, it's crazy, man. You're watching is more than an O'Hara show. Hit the like button. Yeah, we smash TalkSport, bruv. Listen, and they're owned by a £1 billion corporation. And we get more, honestly, if we were able to get that kind of money in, we can make these shows even better. It's just me and KJ. Do you know what I mean? Terry drinks apple martinis, shaken, not stirred. I love it. Respect the Liverpool lads who came out after the L. Absolutely. Big respect to those gents.
No Spurs fans here. There's no Spurs fans.
No, I know. Where are the Spurs fans?
In
not seen
fairness, I can't even lie. I'm glad they didn't turn up. I don't know how it would fit it all into the show. Chelsea fans online now talking about how they don't bang free hits and other nonsense. Chat was caved in after 94 minutes of football. Hey, I can't wait to hear what Don's got to say on Friday.
I was still reading Chelsea fans saying, "Oh, Chelsea are better than Maresca's better than Arteta because he doesn't play in low blocks." I'm like, Arteta doesn't play in low blocks. What is this narrative? It's like ridiculous. Anyway, we'll deal with you guys on Sunday.
The maddest thing is, we actually went to Old Trafford and we went to Anfield. Now we've gone to Stamford Bridge, right? And the second half of the season, we're playing all these top teams at home. So
that's the big bit. Can we now concede to the narrative that it was Klopp's team that won the league last season?
If you want to do that, then Klopp has 2 league titles. Then
look, if the thing is, you can do that if you want. It's just not a narrative that I believe. It wasn't like they won the league the year before. They had a pretty bang average season where they fell off the year before and hadn't won the league in 4 or 5 years, and then Slot went in and made them win it. What they've done wrong is they've changed too much. We've got it's not about Slot's team and his team. We've got to get out this notion. They went against what they've built over the last 8 years, and they went in a new direction. They've done this season on a larger scale what Forest tried to do, going from a pragmatist to Ange. And they were going to get relegated. As soon as they've gone back to the right style of football, the right type of coach, they're winning again. Liverpool just need to go back to what works with this squad, what the squad was built for. They went away from it. It's fallen off. That's what they need to do. When the commentator said, Lima, how do you pronounce that guy's name?
Lima.
We'll be glad for the rest when Saka was taken off. I thought he's wrong to think Madueke is going to give him a rest. This is so true. Ram, what video game are you streaming next?
Lord knows.
What will Chelsea prepare for most this weekend? Set pieces, possession play, balls over the top, counter-attacking, and trying to score against the best defense in the world. Arsenal have it all. It's a great point. It's that's why I think one of the teams that wins at the weekend, and we'll do more of this later on in the week on the Terrace people, but I think the winner will also come down to the manager that gets the tactics right, because I think getting the tactics correct, are Arsenal going to be the aggressor? Are they going to sit back like they did in the first half and just absorb and try and counter? It's going to be intriguing. Fun stat: Liverpool have conceded 7 goals in their last 2 matches. Arsenal have conceded 7 goals in 12 Premier League and 5 Champions League matches. Crazy, man. Does the panel think the loss of Jota is still having an impact? Robinson spoke about it during the international break. Jota's brother rested.
Definitely. I think that's the thing that's gone under the radar throughout the whole year, that we've been trying to come up with reasons as to why they're struggling, but they lost one of their brothers. And, for somebody I've lost members of my family before, and it doesn't take a few weeks or a few months to get over that. It takes years. Sometimes it's a loss of life. And they're only human at the end of the day. I think it's a big thing. I wouldn't call it, if anyone's calling that an excuse, I think you don't have any heart, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Ask Ram, Raya or Neuer in 2025.
In 2025, Raya. People know me. I've criticized Neuer in 2025.
Yeah. This here says, so true, Terry. Don't know how anyone lives through the late post-Fergie humiliation and bees Arteta out. Well, I think you can want to change manager, but I think it's the level of frustration. What's never been explained to me, other than the words, I just want to win. That's not an explanation. That's still like a what, not a why. It's how are you angrier now than when you were dropping into mediocrity, not challenging, not in the Champions League anymore? What is it that makes you angrier now when because you weren't that angry then for not winning, you were angry for not playing well enough and not being good enough. Now none of that seems to. I've never had an answer where I've gone, oh, that actually sounds really reasonable. All over here, but we're not winning still, so I don't care. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's a longevity thing.